Good afternoon. This is Jim Whitehead of All Power Group, and today we're doing a presentation from Power Coffee News. And as we get into it, I hope you'll enjoy and see the benefit of, and the theme here is whatever you eat, use, read, listen to, think of the people and systems that are behind it. Today's presentation, by the name of The Whispering Roast. And the title, as you see, is Coffee Talks to You. Now, Ilara was not a coffee connoisseur. To her, a quiet archivist who cataloged forgotten histories, coffee was merely a functional beverage, a bitter jolt to starve off the afternoon slump. Its nuances were lost on her. The talk of notes of stone fruit and a chocolate finish as indecipherable as a dead language. So she really wasn't into really thinking anything more than just, I'm drinking this coffee because I need to wake up. That's kind of shallow, but I think a lot of us probably do that. But as the name, the Whispering Brew, her perspective shifted the day she cleared out her great-grandmother Annalise's attic. Tucked under a canvas sheet, she found it. A small, handcrafted crank coffee roaster. It was made of blackened cast iron and burnished in copper, looking more like an all-chemical device than a kitchen appliance. Annalise, her family whispered, the grandmother, had been a strange woman who claimed the wind spoke to her and that she could taste the color of the sky. Poor thing, even though, as you're going to see, there's more truth to this whole thing than them thinking that the poor lady is a little bit off or a lot off. Driven by curiosity, Ilara took the roaster home, cleaned its intricate gears, and bought a small bag of green roasted coffee beans from the local supplier. Now, as you know, green beans are, after they come off a tree, and again, we'll be doing a lot of discussion because I love this, and bottom line, they come off of the trees as basically what they call cherries. And then they have to process it and get the mucilage and so on and so forth, and they have to get down to the bean. And when they get to the bean, they have to dry it out. I can go on and on and on and on. But bottom line, it's a pretty big process. And it's kind of neat if you can think of all that has gone into this for your enjoyment. Okay, this is an Ethiopian Yirgacheffe, which I've had myself as coffee. The label said simply because she liked the sound of the name. So she didn't buy it because of, this is great coffee I've heard. She bought it because she liked the name of it. That's probably not the best way to buy coffee. But anyway, so that evening, in the quiet of her apartment, she lit the gas stove and began to turn the crank. There she is. She's saying, I've never done this before. I don't know if this is going to be worth it. The green beans tumbled inside the iron drum with a soft, rattling sound like pebbles on a shore. As they warmed, a grassy, vegetal scent filled the air. Then the smell began to deepen, turning nutty and sweet. And I'm telling you, I've roasted. It is quite an adventure. And we'll be talking more about this as we do more things with my new channel here. She was waiting for the famous first crack. And the point, and what that's defined as, the point where the beans audibly pop as they expand. When it came, it wasn't just a simple snap. Through sound of the crackling beans, Elara heard something else. It was a faint at first, very faint at first, a high, thin sound like a flute played miles away. She stopped cranking, puzzled. The sound vanished. She started again, and it returned. It was a melody woven into the very fabric of the aroma now billowing from the roaster, a scent of jasmine and lemon. But it was more than a melody. As the beans darkened to a cinnamon brown, the sound deepened into a complex symphony. She could hear the soft consonants and lifting vowels of a language she didn't know. The sound of laughter, the gentle rustle of leaves in a warm, dry wind. And she's saying, what is going on here? She could hear the high altitude sun warming the volcanic soil. Her heart hammered against her ribs. This was impossible. It was a waking dream, a hallucination brought on by fumes. Yet, she couldn't stop. She pushed the roaster further towards the second crack. And that's exactly what happens. The further you go from first crack and the second crack is really gets into how dark or light the roast is. The sounds grew more intense. The light, airy melody was now underscored by a deep, resonant hum, a sound of the earth itself. Ancient and patient, the aroma was no longer just coffee. It was a story. Wow. She could smell the rain had fed the coffee cherries, the calloused hands that had picked them, the long journey in the burlap bags, sacks across the ocean. She frantically tipped the beans into a colander to cool them. The cascade of sound and scent overwhelming her senses. The strange symphony faded as the beans cooled, leaving only the familiar, rich aroma of a fresh roast. The next day, with trembling hands, she ground the beans and brewed a cup. She took the first sip. The experience was transformed. It was no longer a homogeneous, bitter liquid. She could taste the sunlight. She could feel the echo of laughter.
I'm not quite sure how to help you with that.
On her tongue. The lemony acidity wasn't a note, it was the memory of a specific morning on a faraway mountain. The coffee was whispering its entire life story to her. Elara never told anyone. Her great-grandmother's strangeness was not a flight of fancy. It was a dormant sense she had now awakened. So the grandmother was not a little wacko. And now Lisa's saying, hey, you know, this is great. I'm getting so much out of my daily coffee. I'm able to follow it from the beginning to me putting it in the roaster, roasting it, and then brewing it. It all talks to me or whispers to you. The world of coffee had opened up to her not as a matter of taste, but as a library of unheard stories. She began collecting green beans from all over the world. And you probably know what she's thinking. A Sumatran roast. This roast whispered tales of monsoon rains and the low growl of tigers in the jungle. Its flavor, deep, earthy, and profound. A bright Costa Rican bean sang with the sharp staccato rhythm of tropical birds and the sweet scent of nearby mangroves. Coffee was no longer a tool for waking up. For Elara, the archivist of silent paper, it had become the truest form of history. Each morning's cup was a communion, a private ritual where she could sit, close her eyes, and listen to the whispering roast. The autobiography of a single humble being. So, for you coffee lovers like me, try to think as you're drinking that in the morning. And as she found, it took her on a tour of the world. And of course, wherever, and you can get coffee beans from a bunch of different countries, and I'm going to get into that and so on and so forth. But the point is, she was able to see the world from drinking her coffee. I think that is cool. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. I love doing these. I love my animal channel. And I love the coffee channel now because I just started it. So anyway, thank you for being here. And you made my day. I want to thank you very, very much. And please, please, please take care of yourself. And drink coffee and just think of all the things it goes through before you're able to start drinking it. Thanks again.